What if I told you that the key to true happiness isn't found in more possessions, more success, or even more pleasure, but in something far deeper, something that has been around for centuries? What if the secret to lasting fulfillment could be found in ancient wisdom, in the way we perceive life, and in how we respond to challenges? In a world where people are constantly searching for the next big thing to bring happiness, it's easy to overlook the simple yet profound truths that Stoicism has to offer. Stoicism teaches us that happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, but from inner peace, self-mastery, and living in alignment with virtue. In this video, we're going to explore how to embrace the Stoic principles that have been practiced for thousands of years to create a life of lasting happiness and fulfillment. By the end of this video, you will have practical tools and a deep understanding of how Stoic philosophy can transform your approach to life, helping you cultivate mental resilience, emotional control, and the lasting fulfillment that we all seek in 2025. If you're tired of the fleeting satisfaction that comes with chasing external validation and empty pleasures, then stick with me. What you're about to learn will not only change the way you view happiness, but will help you build a life that is more meaningful, peaceful, and aligned with your true values. Let's dive into the Stoic view of happiness and see how it can help us all achieve lasting fulfillment. The Stoic view of happiness, more than pleasure. In today's world, happiness is often seen as something external, something we chase after. We think that happiness is tied to material possessions, fleeting experiences, or the validation of others. We get caught up in the constant pursuit of pleasure, expecting that once we acquire the latest gadget, travel to the perfect destination, or earn a promotion, we will be truly happy. But in Stoicism, happiness is not about these external circumstances. Happiness, according to the Stoics, is an internal state, shaped by how we respond to life rather than what happens to us. This is a fundamental shift in perspective. True happiness is not about pleasure, it's about lasting fulfillment. Pleasure is fleeting. It's the momentary satisfaction we get from a good meal, an exciting trip, or a compliment from a friend. But these moments pass quickly, and once they do, we are left searching for the next thing to fill that gap. Happiness, on the other hand, is enduring. It comes from within, from the way we choose to engage with life, from how we respond to adversity, and how we cultivate inner peace. Epictetus, one of the central figures in Stoic philosophy, taught that men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. This is one of the core teachings of Stoicism, and a critical component of emotional detachment. Happiness, therefore, is not something that comes from external events, but from mastering our inner responses to those events. The Stoic way encourages us to control our perceptions, not just our actions. If we shift how we view the world and detach from the constant desire for pleasure, we unlock a deeper, more lasting sense of happiness. For instance, Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, viewed happiness as a life lived in harmony with virtue. He wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." What he was pointing to is the idea that we have control over how we think about the world and the events that happen in our lives. Instead of reacting to life with frustration, anger, or anxiety, we have the power to choose calm, reasoned responses. By cultivating inner strength and emotional control, we can experience happiness no matter what external circumstances arise. Consider how the Stoics approached adversity. When faced with difficulties, whether losing a loved one, enduring physical pain, or experiencing betrayal, they did not seek to avoid or deny their feelings, but rather, they practiced acceptance and responded in a way that preserved their peace. The Stoics would say, "These things are outside my control, but how I respond to them is within my power." This is where true happiness lies, not in avoiding pain, but in how we handle it. Modern society, however, often tells us a different story. We live in a world that emphasizes instant gratification, where everything is available at the push of a button. We are encouraged to seek pleasure at every turn, from the next viral video to the next shopping spree, hoping each new thing will provide lasting happiness. But the Stoics understood something deeper, that happiness is found in acceptance, self-control, and living a life of purpose. When we stop chasing fleeting pleasures and start focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses to life, we align ourselves with Stoic wisdom and begin to experience a more meaningful happiness. By shifting our focus from external achievements and temporary satisfaction to internal virtues, such as wisdom, courage, and temperance, we start to live in accordance with the true meaning of happiness. It's a happiness grounded in what we can control, in living with purpose, and in practicing virtue, rather than chasing the fleeting pleasure that society often tells us will bring fulfillment. Understanding the pursuit of lasting fulfillment. What does lasting fulfillment really mean? In a world that constantly pushes us to achieve more, buy more, and do more, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that fulfillment comes from external accomplishment. The truth, however, is far different. True fulfillment is about something much deeper, something that doesn't come from what you have or where you've been, but from who you are and the choices you make each day. The Stoics taught that fulfillment isn't found in fleeting pleasures or in the external validation of others. Instead, it's found in the pursuit of virtue, the mastery of self, and living a life aligned with your true values. The Stoic philosophers spoke about the good life, not in terms of accumulating wealth or social status, but in terms of living a life of virtue, guided by wisdom, courage, and justice. The idea of a good life wasn't about a series of happy moments. It was about making choices that reflect your highest values, no matter the circumstances. Lasting fulfillment comes from living in harmony with your own inner truth, not in constantly chasing after external achievements. This approach stands in stark contrast to modern society's focus on instant gratification and the constant pursuit of material success. Look around, and it's clear that many people today are living in a cycle of perpetual discontent. In the age of social media, we're constantly bombarded with images of success, wealth, and beauty, and we're conditioned to believe that these things will bring us happiness. But the Stoics understood that this path leads to burnout and dissatisfaction. True fulfillment comes when we stop looking outside for happiness and begin cultivating it within. The idea of living in alignment with virtue is one that can be hard to grasp in our fast-paced world. But think about it. When you act in accordance with your values, when you take pride in your work because it aligns with your principles rather than external reward, you begin to feel a deeper sense of satisfaction. This is fulfillment that doesn't depend on a promotion, a new possession, or even the approval of others. It comes from doing what's right, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant the action may be. For example, consider a person who chooses to act with integrity, even when it's inconvenient. They may not get immediate rewards, but over time, this commitment to doing the right thing builds a sense of pride and peace that no external validation can replace. This is lasting fulfillment, a deep, unshakable sense of satisfaction that grows from within, not from the world around us. The Stoics believed that this kind of fulfillment is sustainable because it's rooted in virtue, not the shifting sands of external circumstances. In our modern world, we're constantly told that we need more money, more success, more experiences, to be happy. But the Stoics challenge that notion. Instead of seeking fulfillment in external achievement, they teach us to seek it within ourselves. They urge us to focus on self-awareness, on understanding our true desires, and on cultivating habits that align with our values. This shift in focus from external acquisition to internal mastery is the key to breaking the cycle of dissatisfaction. Moreover, the Stoics warned us against the dangers of chasing fleeting pleasure. In today's society, we're constantly surrounded by distractions that promise happiness, the next product, the next event, the next high. But real fulfillment doesn't come from the next fix. It comes from creating a life that reflects your values, from growing through challenges, and from being at peace with who you are, regardless of what's happening around you. True happiness, according to the Stoics, is about building resilience, cultivating emotional control, and living a life of purpose. The power of control, focusing on what you can control. One of the most fundamental teachings of Stoic philosophy is the power of control. The Stoics believed that, above all else, we must learn to focus on what we can control and let go of the rest. In a world where so much is outside our control, where external events and the actions of others often feel like a constant barrage, it can be easy to feel powerless, overwhelmed, and anxious. But the Stoic response to this is both simple and powerful. You can control your reactions, your thoughts, and your actions, and that is where true freedom lies. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This teaching is foundational for understanding emotional detachment. When life throws challenges our way, whether it's a difficult person, a stressful situation, or unexpected obstacles, the Stoics remind us that we can choose how to respond. And that choice is where our power lies. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself upset, frustrated, or anxious because of something outside your control? Maybe it's a rude comment from a colleague, an event that didn't go your way, or an argument with a friend. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that these external events are the source of your unhappiness. But the Stoics teach us that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, it's our judgment of them. By practicing emotional control and learning to detach from external events, we regain our power. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about choosing not to let them control us. Instead of reacting impulsively to everything that happens, we take a moment to reflect, to ask ourselves, what is within my control here? This simple shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. Take a moment to think about your day-to-day life. How often do you find yourself reacting emotionally to things you can't control? Maybe it's the weather, the traffic, or the actions of others. The Stoic mindset encourages us to acknowledge those feelings, but then to let them go. Instead of letting external events dictate how we feel, we focus on what we can control: our actions, our thoughts, and our reaction. A simple exercise to practice this concept is to ask yourself every morning, what can I control today? By setting this intention at the beginning of your day, you mentally prepare yourself to focus on what truly matters, your own response. The more you practice this, the more empowered you feel. The more you realize that your happiness and inner peace are not dependent on others, but on your own choices. The Stoics also practiced detachment from the uncontrollable aspects of life. They understood that worrying about what we cannot change is a waste of energy. Seneca put it beautifully when he said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Often, we spend so much of our mental energy worrying about things outside our control, what others think of us, the future, or circumstances that may never come to pass. But if we focus on what we can control in the present moment, we stop wasting that energy and start living with clarity and peace. Here's a practical tip. Try journaling every day. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on the events of the day and ask yourself, what did I control, and what did I allow to control me? This practice not only helps you focus on what's within your power, but it also helps you grow in self-awareness. Over time, you'll begin to notice how much power you truly have over your emotional state, and you'll feel a greater sense of mental resilience as a result. Embracing adversity, how challenges lead to growth. In today's world, we often seek comfort and security. We try to avoid discomfort at all costs, hoping to protect ourselves from anything that could cause us pain or inconvenience. However, this mindset is at odds with the teachings of Stoic philosophy, which suggests that true growth comes not from avoiding challenges, but from embracing them. Adversity, rather than being a burden, is seen as an opportunity for growth, wisdom, and resilience. The Stoics believed that challenges and hardships are an essential part of the human experience. Seneca famously said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." When we face adversity, we are given the opportunity to build mental toughness and resilience. Instead of running from challenges, the Stoics taught that we should lean into them, recognizing that they offer us a chance to grow stronger, to develop our character, and to improve our emotional and mental resilience. Think about the hardest times in your life. Maybe it was a period of personal loss, a career setback, or a relationship that fell apart. At the time, these moments likely felt unbearable. However, when you look back, don't you see how those struggles made you who you are today? You likely developed greater emotional control, more self-awareness, and a deeper understanding of your values. That is the power of adversity. One of the greatest Stoic exercises is reframing adversity. Instead of viewing challenges as obstacles to happiness, The Stoics saw them as essential experiences that shaped their growth. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, viewed every obstacle as an opportunity to practice virtue. Whether it was practicing patience with an unruly colleague or maintaining composure in the face of political turmoil, Marcus used every challenge as a chance to refine his character. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the Stoics asked, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this situation?" This perspective shifts our view of life. It helps us see that life is not about avoiding discomfort, but about learning how to navigate it with grace and resilience. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to practice virtue, to choose wisdom over ignorance, courage over fear, and justice over self-interest. And when we begin to view adversity as a tool for growth, we shift our mindset from one of helplessness to one of empowerment. Think about the small obstacles you face every day. Maybe it's the frustration of a long commute, an unexpected delay, or a minor disagreement with a friend. The next time you encounter a challenge, try to reframe it. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, ask yourself, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger?" This shift in perspective is a powerful tool in developing emotional resilience and mental toughness. The more we practice this approach, the more we learn to embrace adversity, not as something to be feared, but as an essential part of the human experience. By leaning into challenges, we strengthen our ability to endure, and as we continue to endure, we begin to experience a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment and peace. This is the essence of personal growth and the Stoic way of life, living in harmony with nature, aligning with the universe. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea that we should live in harmony with nature, not only in the natural world but also in the flow of life itself. The Stoics believed that the universe operates with a natural order, a rhythm to the world that we can either fight against or align with. To achieve true happiness and inner peace, we must understand and accept this order, and align our actions, thoughts, and beliefs with it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and emperors, often wrote about the interconnectedness of all things in his meditation. He believed that humans were not separate from nature, but an integral part of it. "What is not good for the swarm," he wrote, "is not good for the bee." In other words, if we want to live a fulfilling life, we must act in accordance with the greater whole, understanding that our actions have consequences not only for ourselves but for the world around us. This concept of aligning with nature isn't just about appreciating the beauty of the natural world or finding a sense of peace in the quiet of the outdoors. It's about accepting the flow of life, including its ups and downs, and understanding that everything happens for a reason, even if we don't understand it in the moment. When we resist the flow of life, when we try to control things that are beyond our power, we create unnecessary stress and anxiety. But when we accept things as they are, without judgment, without resistance, we find peace. Consider how we often resist the seasons of life. In winter, we want it to be spring. In spring, we want it to be summer. But nature has its own rhythm, and so does life. Just like the seasons, there will be times of growth, times of rest, and times of change. Each of these stages is necessary for the cycle to continue. When we accept life's natural flow, we embrace the impermanence of everything. We recognize that challenges are temporary, that joy and sorrow come and go, but that we are constantly moving forward. By aligning with nature, we also learn the art of acceptance, not just accepting the good things in life, but accepting the challenges, the hardships, and the changes that come our way. This doesn't mean resigning ourselves to passivity or complacency. Rather, it means understanding that we can't control everything, but we can control our attitude and our responses. Living in harmony with nature means letting go of the illusion that we can change what is outside our control, and focusing instead on how we can respond to it with grace and wisdom. In practical terms, aligning with nature means embracing mindfulness, being present in the moment and accepting whatever comes your way, without judgment. It's about trusting the process of life, even when things don't go according to plan. The Stoics believed that when we trust in the natural order, we find peace. Whether it's a difficult situation at work, a challenging relationship, or an unexpected life event, instead of fighting it or wishing it were different, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this situation? This mindset frees us from the need to control every aspect of our lives, which in turn leads to a deeper sense of inner peace and fulfillment. When we align ourselves with nature's flow, we are no longer fighting against life, we are moving with it. The role of virtue. Why character is key to happiness. When it comes to happiness, many people mistakenly believe that the key lies in external circumstances, wealth, success, or even relationships. But the Stoics understood something far deeper. True happiness isn't dependent on what you have or what happens to you, it's rooted in your character. The Stoic view of happiness is founded on the idea that living virtuously, acting with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, leads to a life of fulfillment and inner peace. For the Stoics, virtue was not just a set of moral guidelines, but the very foundation of a good life. It's what gave life its meaning, purpose, and direction. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, wrote that no man is free who is not master of himself. In other words, true freedom and happiness come from self-mastery, the ability to govern our own thoughts, actions, and desires in line with virtue. Happiness, then, is not something we acquire externally, it's something we create through the choices we make and the character we cultivate. Let's take a moment to break down what virtue truly means in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that virtue is made up of 4 core principles: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are the qualities that should guide our decisions and our actions. Wisdom allows us to make sound decisions based on knowledge and rationality. Courage helps us face challenges with strength and determination, without succumbing to fear. Justice is about treating others with fairness and integrity, ensuring that we contribute to the greater good. And temperance is the ability to moderate our desires, avoiding excess and living a balanced life. When we live in accordance with these virtues, we align ourselves with our highest purpose and our truest self. This doesn't mean that we become immune to difficulties or external challenges, but rather that we approach them with a mindset that is grounded in virtue. We respond to adversity with wisdom, face our fears with courage, act with fairness and integrity, and practice self-control in every aspect of life. In fact, the Stoics argued that virtue is the only true good, and everything else, money, status, and even pleasure, are indifferent. While these things are not inherently bad, they are not the source of happiness. True happiness comes from living in alignment with virtue, not from the external world. This understanding shifts the focus from external validation and possessions to the cultivation of inner strength and integrity. Consider someone who might have great wealth or status, but lacks virtue, who is selfish, dishonest, or driven solely by personal gain. The Stoics would argue that despite these external successes, such a person is far from truly happy. On the other hand, a person who lives virtuously, who seeks wisdom, acts with courage, and treats others justly, will find lasting fulfillment, regardless of their material possessions or external circumstances. The inner peace that comes with living virtuously is far more rewarding than any external achievement. By practicing virtue daily, we start to notice a shift in our mindset. Instead of chasing fleeting pleasures or worrying about what others think, we begin to live according to our values. Living a virtuous life gives us the strength to handle challenges with grace and to find peace, no matter what life throws our way. Practical Stoic exercises for daily fulfillment. Now that we've explored the Stoic view of happiness, virtue, and how living in alignment with nature can bring about a deeper sense of fulfillment, it's time to turn our attention to practical exercises. Stoicism is not just a philosophy for contemplation, it's a way of life. And to experience the true benefits of Stoic wisdom, we must incorporate its principles into our daily routine. In this section, we'll discuss several Stoic exercises that, when practiced consistently, will help you achieve lasting fulfillment and emotional resilience. One of the most powerful exercises in Stoic practice is negative visualization. This may sound counterintuitive at first, but stay with me. Negative visualization is the practice of imagining the loss of something you value, whether it's your health, your relationships, or your possessions. This exercise is designed to shift your perspective and foster gratitude for what you have, while also reducing the fear of loss. By imagining life without the things we take for granted, we become more aware of how precious they truly are. For instance, imagine your life without your family, your home, or your career. What would you feel? How would your world change? Negative visualization helps us understand that nothing is guaranteed, and it encourages us to appreciate the present moment. It's not about dwelling on the negative, but rather about recognizing the impermanence of life and learning to be grateful for what we have today. Another essential Stoic practice is the morning reflection. This is an exercise you can do every morning to set the tone for the day. It's simple. Before you begin your day, take a few minutes to reflect on the challenges you might face and how you want to approach them. Think about your goals, but also about the virtues you wish to practice: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, and how you can embody them throughout your day. By starting each day with intention and self-awareness, you prepare yourself to face whatever comes your way with a clear mind and a focused heart. For example, if you know you'll face a difficult conversation at work or in your personal life, take a moment to remind yourself to respond with patience and understanding, rather than reacting with frustration or anger. This small exercise helps you stay grounded, especially in the face of adversity. A third powerful practice is the view from above exercise. This is a technique the Stoics use to detach from the small problems of daily life and gain a broader perspective. The idea is to imagine yourself looking at your life from a great height, like from the perspective of a bird or an observer in the sky. From this elevated view, the problems that seem so large in the moment begin to look small and insignificant. This exercise helps you put your challenges into perspective and reminds you that your problems are just one small part of the grand tapestry of life. The view from above encourages emotional detachment, allowing you to approach situations with a calm and reasoned mind. It's a way to practice mindfulness and self-reflection, enabling you to step back from your immediate reactions and see the bigger picture. Incorporating these Stoic exercises into your daily routine doesn't have to be difficult. Start small, perhaps with 5 minutes of negative visualization or a morning reflection to set your intentions for the day. The key is consistency. The more you practice these exercises, the more natural they will become, and the greater their impact will be on your overall happiness and emotional resilience. Over time, you will notice that you approach life with more calmness, patience, and clarity. You'll find that your emotional responses to challenges become less reactive and more measured. By practicing Stoic exercises daily, you can cultivate a life of true fulfillment, one that is based on virtue, wisdom, and inner peace, not on fleeting pleasures or external achievement. Gratitude and acceptance, the secret to lasting peace. One of the most powerful keys to lasting peace and happiness is the practice of gratitude and acceptance. These two Stoic principles go hand in hand, forming the foundation of a peaceful and fulfilling life. While they may seem simple on the surface, they are profoundly transformative when practiced consistently. By incorporating gratitude and acceptance into your daily routine, you can cultivate a sense of inner calm that is impervious to external chaos. Let's start with gratitude. It's easy to be grateful when things are going well. But the Stoics didn't just practice gratitude in the good times, they also practiced it during hardship. Seneca once said, "A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts to itself great things." The Stoics believed that by focusing on what we have, rather than what we lack, we can shift our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Gratitude is not just about saying, "Thank you" for the big things. It's about recognizing the small, everyday blessings that are often taken for granted. Take a moment every day to reflect on the simple things: the warmth of the sun, the comfort of a good meal, the kindness of a friend, or the ability to learn and grow. When we take time to appreciate these small things, our perspective begins to shift, and we start to see the world through a lens of abundance, not lack. But the Stoic practice of gratitude goes beyond mere appreciation for what we have. It also involves accepting the things we cannot change. This is where the second principle, acceptance, comes into play. The Stoics understood that life is filled with uncertainty, pain, and hardship, and that we cannot control everything. What we can control, however, is how we respond to these challenges. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or passivity. It means acknowledging that some things are simply beyond our control and choosing to respond to them with peace. For example, consider a situation where you've been disappointed by a friend or a colleague. It's natural to feel hurt or frustrated, but instead of ruminating on the situation or trying to change it, practice acceptance. Recognize that the person's actions are beyond your control, but your response to them is not. You can choose to respond with understanding, compassion, or detachment, rather than anger or resentment. Gratitude and acceptance work together to bring peace. When we accept the things we cannot change, we free ourselves from the emotional burden of resistance. When we practice gratitude, we shift our focus away from what is lacking in our lives and begin to see the abundance all around us. This combination of acceptance and gratitude cultivates mental resilience and emotional strength, allowing us to face life's challenges with grace and calm. A simple practice to cultivate both gratitude and acceptance is to keep a gratitude journal. Every evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for from the day. They don't have to be big. The small moments often carry the most meaning. Additionally, reflect on something that challenged you during the day and practice acceptance. How could you have responded with more calm or understanding? What can you learn from the situation? Over time, this practice will help you develop a mindset of peace and fulfillment, no matter what life throws your way. As we've explored in this video, true happiness is not about external possessions, fleeting pleasures, or the opinions of others. It's about mastering yourself, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and aligning with your values to create a life of lasting fulfillment. The Stoic principles we've discussed are not just ancient wisdom, they are practical tools for emotional resilience, mental toughness, and finding inner peace in the face of a chaotic world. The journey to lasting happiness begins with understanding what you can control and letting go of what you can't. By practicing emotional detachment and learning to focus on virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, you can cultivate a sense of peace that is not easily disturbed by life's external events. Remember, happiness is not found in the next achievement, the next product, or the next moment of pleasure. It's found in the way you choose to respond to life, with wisdom and grace. So, ask yourself, are you ready to stop chasing fleeting pleasure and start living a life that aligns with your highest values? Are you ready to achieve true happiness, a happiness that endures, no matter what life throws your way? If you are, take the first step today. Apply the Stoic exercises, reflect on the virtues you want to embody, and embrace the challenges that come your way as opportunities for growth. Your true happiness starts with the choices you make today. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit from these timeless Stoic principles. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated with more content that will help you live with purpose, resilience, and inner peace. Hit the notification bell so you never miss another video that will help you transform your mindset and achieve lasting fulfillment. Share this video with someone you care about, and let's build a community of people committed to living a more meaningful life, grounded in Stoic wisdom.